Aloha, you can call me Craw. On today's episode of Lego Sorting and Organizing, we'll be going through a piece of the day, and then we'll do some, could be very boring, but I think it's going to be more interesting. It really is going to help justify and show one of those strengths of my organizational system so that you can understand one of the pain points that this was hoping to solve and show how it does, in fact, solve it. Today's Lego piece of the day is this one. This is a Hero Factory Torso medium with 9-ball joint. This is piece number 90625. Now, I found this piece to be very interesting when I first saw it because this is a piece that I thought was going to be a Bionicle piece. Just looking at it, this screams Bionicle, and I'm pretty sure it exists in some Bionicle in some nature. So I was very interested to find out that there is a sub-theme called Hero Factory, which I knew very little to nothing about. This piece has been around, was in production from 2010 to 2015. So this was 5 years that this thing was around. And then so it appeared in 43 sets. It's mostly in black, which is the only color I've ever seen it in. But one set had it in dark bluish gray and 2 sets had it in red. So let's go look at the individual sets, shall we? As you can see, dark bluish gray. It was in this guy here, who is a dark bluish gray looking guy, I guess. Okay. And we want to look at the two of them where it comes in red. We got to scroll all the way to the bottom. And again, we find this guy who, again, he looks red. And this guy who looks red. In terms of the types of sets, this has been in Hero Factory, Hero Factory, Hero Factory, Hero Factory, Hero Factory, Hero Factory. A Bionicle. Thank you. Onua, Master of Earth, coming through. Superheroes, a buildable figures for there. So again, you can see it would go into here, into this particular one. Legends of Chima makes an appearance. That makes sense for the time period. And then, oh, Batman 2. Interesting. So yeah, this was a kind of interesting period of time, I think, for Lego. And so when you look at the pieces that the sets that this is associated with, is very interested. I don't know what I would use this for outside of rebuilding one of these, but I'm sure I can come up with some system for it. Particularly because when I look at this particular piece, it's not going for a lot. 1 cent, 1 cent, 2 cents, 2 cents. If we say, hey, let's look at just as Americans, because I always look at just Americans, it tends to be a little more pricey here than in Europe. 3 cents. So 3 times as expensive to buy 5 used ones here. So thank you, Brandon's Bricklock. I would do my normal deep dive where I look into this and see what was the first set it came out in, but I don't think it's going to matter. They're all basically the same. You know what? It'll be fun. What was the last set this appeared in? Because this is kind of the end of it. This is when it died. You know, you had 14, 14, 5, 9. And so last year, what did we have? The Bionicle set is the last one. Clearly, they're like, maybe we can use this piece in Bionicle, and they're like, we can't use this piece in Bionicle. I'm going to figure out some use for it because I don't want to discard them, and there's going to be like 0 value to trying to sell these on the whatchamacallit market, unless I do some of these like restorations of some of these sets, which I may get into. I may try to do that from an interesting perspective, but yeah. Aloha. So today's portion of the thing where we're going to be talking about sorting and organizing, we're going to talk about one of the advantages to my system. My system, for those who know, it involves storing your pieces by piece in sandwich bags in these cheap magazine holders that you get from IKEA. 2 of these for $1. You can slide them onto a shelf. The nice thing about this is because they're cheap, you can get a ton of them, but you also can move them around on the shelf as needed. But the real win comes when you get to a situation like this, where this box is practically full. Oftentimes when I see other people who have this, they try to like cram the door closed because they have those nice little plastic sliding drawers, which I have some of those. I'm not against those, but they try to get it closed when it can, and sometimes it gets stuck, and oftentimes they try to say, okay, I'm going to move it around, and then they got to find drawers and move drawers. They have to do all this stuff. This system is a million times easier. So let's go through what I will do when one of these boxes gets too full and I need to split it. And so the first thing you gotta do is you gotta look at all the different bags that you have that are Technique bricks. Then you get yourself an empty box. Again, 50 cents each. Cannot beat that price. I like to then say, because you're not going to know exactly where you want to divide the pieces up. So what I like to do is I like to just kind of get them out into some sort of order so I can see what I'm looking at. I find oftentimes there's having a logical way so that you can like instantly think of how it's different helpful. So oftentimes I'll go by the number of studs that a piece takes up. So for instance, this is a 2-stud piece. This is a 4-stud piece. This is, I don't know how many studs. But I can start getting them into piles based upon the number of studs each one contains. I have piles of very small, so these are 1 or 2s. This is piles of 4, so they're 2 by 2 bricks. These, I don't know exactly how many they are because they're rectangle, but they're hollow on the inside. So again, I don't know how many this is. Similar to this one will be an 8, so this will probably be next to it. And then these are the more traditional ones. So I want to figure out how many these are. This is a 4, 6, 8. This is working out pretty good. 10, 14. Yep, there we go. Okay, so here I have the biggest to the smallest. So again, let's do that, because now we know. Now these are going to fall somewhere in the middle. This is an 8 because I'm counting by the bottom. Otherwise it would be a 4. So we're just going to put it there. How many is this? This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So this is going to be even bigger because this is 24. You also, if you didn't want to throw these to the biggest pile possible, which I keep seeing is just out of screen, you could say, how long is it? Right? How long is this? This is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And therefore you would put it around 6, 12, 14. I'm not going to do that. So now we've got them basically into 2 piles that are pretty evenly matched. And I think one of the most important things about when you're splitting things in half is you need to split it as in half as possible. There's 2 approaches you can take. You can do it by weight, or you can take it about volume in terms of how much space it takes up. I tend to lean towards taking up space volume-wise. So we're going to take our 2 boxes, and we're just going to go smallest and biggest. And just one by one, split them. Now, I do recognize that some of these bags, this bag has got a lot more pieces in it than like this bag. I recognize that. So we'll just see as the boxes get filled up inside how they tend to do. Because I may need to move 1 or 2 each direction based upon how full each box looks. Now, we have 2 boxes. They both feel relatively full in terms of the same weight. This one has got a little less, but it also is this last bag. Like if I put this bag here, this one now feels bigger. I'm going to leave this on this side because 4 feels like a good line. So if it is 4 studs or less, it is in here. Because that is also what those ones were. Yeah. So 4 studs or less in here. 6 studs or more over here. And now this is where it really gets fun. And by it really gets fun, I mean, look, if you're watching these videos, you know I'm kind of a weird person in terms of the things I find interesting and things that excite me. And organization is one of those things. So If you're like, this is not fun, I'm sorry, I'm not the person for you. I realize I should have had this rotated the whole time, but I didn't. All right, so looking at this, we know that both these boxes are going to be Technique bricks, or Technique, because the value to any system is your labeling. If you're going to use something like this, or you're going to use something that is drawers, as long as it's labeled, that's going to help you out. Now, originally, I was labeling them by writing on the actual boxes itself, and I realized relatively quickly I don't like that nearly as much as putting it on my labels. So we're going to have Technic bricks, because that is what this box contains. And then this is going to be less than 4. So less than equal 4 studs. And conversely, greater than or equal to 6 studs. Now, I probably could just do 6 plus, 4 minus, but I find having the greater than, less than is equal to, and I know I probably got them wrong. I'm willing to say that. The only thing I can remember is that when you're on like Twitch and someone does a heart emoji and the text to speech, it says less than 3. And that's how I remember less than versus greater than. I know. I'm 46 years old, and that's the only way I can remember that. So there, as you can see, I divided my box in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Who knows exactly how long it was. That was quick. That was easy. And I'd say that is the thing that hampers your Lego storage organization the most, is the thing when the container you have gets full and you have to split it into something else. That is a long, arduous process. Something like this is easy because now I put these two, they sit on the shelf, and I can just move it over on the shelf. I know the flexibility I have gained by going to this type of system is the value of this. So I hope this video helped you in your Lego organizational journey. Mahalo for watching, friends.
So yeah, you have made it to the end, so I think you should give yourself a little pat on the back.
My dad yaps so stupidly much. It's just a known fact about him.
Everything has been said. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye.